Hello all. So we are starting with module 2, which is the second part of module 2. So it is writing and optimizing the assembly code. So basically we should know what is an assembly code over here. It's a machine level language which is being written, okay, in terms of mnemonics, which are the smallest, which are the short form of English words. So the contents are as follows: ARM programming using assembly language, and then the profiling and cycle counting, instruction scheduling, register allocation, conditional execution, and looping constraints. So to write a program, we should have first and foremost thing, we should look into three main steps, that is instruction scheduling, register allocation, and then conditional execution. So what is an instruction scheduling? It is reordering of the instructions in a code sequence to avoid processor stalls. It means the processor should not have to wait for the next instruction to be executed. So instruction should be put in the sequence. So register allocation. Okay, while writing the code, the programmer should and must have to know that which all the register to be used and how many registers to be used to write a perfect code. Because using lots of registers and using less number of registers is not a good programming practice. So he should know how many registers should be used to write a program. So next one is conditional execution. So it is for accessing the full range of ARM condition codes and conditional instructions. Okay, so to write a conditional code, he should be aware of the memory that is there, so that he can use it and he can write the good code. So next one is writing an assembly code. So as we know that assembly code has to be written using mnemonics, which are the short form of English words, which is machine dependent. That means it cannot run on the other machines. It is particular for a particular machine. So assembly code is an important part of the programming concept, as it is easy to understand. It is easy to understand for a person who writes the code. So in our ARM, we are having a definite style to write assembly code. So that is nothing but area. Okay, it has to start with area, text, code, and then read only. Area tells that the further whatever we are going to write is meant for to write a code, and text is the name of the file or the name of the program that we are writing. So code anyway tells that it is going to be a program, and read only is the one which makes the program to be sit in ROM. So this program is used for writing a square of a number. So you know that square, okay, so it is multiply R1 is equal to R0 into R0, okay, so it is R1 is equal to R0 into R0. So move R0 is equal to R1, that means whatever the data which is there in R0 just moves to R0. So move PC to LR, okay. See, it is used to make sure that the LR, which is nothing but which holds the content of a subroutine, and the program counter should hold the same value. That's what we are using the LR over here. And anyway, this will calculate the square of a number. So the next concept is profiling and cycle counting. So what is a profiler? A profiler is a tool that measures the proportion of time or processing cycle spent on each subroutine. So here we are talking about subroutine. Here we are not talking about the time taken to execute a single instruction. Here we are talking about the time taken to execute each subroutine. So who keeps the track about this? It is nothing but a profiler. So profiler is the one which keeps track of the time taken to execute a particular subroutine. A cycle counter measures the number of cycles taken to specific routine. That means if there is a routine, okay, cycle counter takes care of how many cycles have been taken to execute a particular routine. Thereby, we are taking care of the timing constraints over here. The ARM simulator used by ADSI debugger is called the Armulator, provides the cycle counting feature. So Armulator is one which is like something like Keel that we use it in our lab. Okay, so that is used to keep track of this profiling and cycle counting. The Armulator profiler works by sampling the program counter PC at regular intervals. That means PC is a one which keeps track of the next instructions to be executed. So it keeps track of the PC so that it can come to know when does the subroutine has been started and when does it is going to end, so that it can directly calculates the timing constraint. So the next part is instruction scheduling. As I told you that a programmer should know which instruction should be written after one instruction. So that's what is instruction scheduling. I can't write one instruction somewhere and the other instruction somewhere. If I can write, the PC or the controller will be in confusion to execute the particular instructions. Thereby it takes much amount of time. So it tells that the time taken to execute instructions depends on the implementation of pipeline, which means that the instruction has to be properly scheduled to reduce the timing of execution. So instructions have to be written in a proper way, in a proper schedule, okay, so that the time taken by the controller to execute a particular program can be reduced. So ALU operations such as addition, subtraction, and logical operations take only one cycle. This includes even shift by an immediate value. Here we should know which instruction takes how many cycles, so that we can, if I want to write a program very early, if I want that the program should end very early, so I should use those instructions which takes less cycles. Here cycle is nothing but time taken. So if I want to add, subtract or something, so there are some instructions like ADD, SUB and all. So these are the instructions which will take only one cycle. So I can complete the program very easily. Then there are some load instructions that load 32-bit words into memory, such as LDR and LDM, that takes n cycles to issue, but the result of the last word loaded is not available on the following cycle. That means it depends on how many bits of data you are using. So if you are using a 32-bit data to load the data into either a register using LDR or either into memory using LDM, then it depends on the data that we are using it. If you are using smaller number of data, so it will take only small cycles, or it will take that many cycles which is necessary. But the point is, the result of the last word loaded is not available on the following cycle. The updated load address is available on the next cycle. That means in the next machine cycle, we are going to get that address. So branch instructions take only three cycles. So the next property is the pipeline interlock, which comes under instruction scheduling. So what do you mean by pipeline interlock? For example, we'll deal with the example. Here, if I can see that the data R0, whatever is there, is nothing but R0 plus R1. If I can have this add, R0 is equal to R0 plus R1. Here again, it is R0 plus R2. So these two instructions are separated. That means they are not dependent. So the second instruction, that is this one, is not dependent on the first instruction. Okay, in terms of any data or something. So that means they are not in locking condition, they are independent. Whereas over here, if I can see that LD load register is with the data R2 plus 4. Okay, so that data which is there in this memory location will be put in R1. So then whatever the R1 will be there will be added with this R0 to get my final R0. It means what? This instruction, add instruction, should wait till R1 gets its value from the first instruction. So they are dependent. So that's why it is called as interlock. They are called as interlock. That means this instruction, the add instruction, this instruction gets locked till this instruction gets executed. Once if this gets executed, the next this instruction gets executed. That's what is nothing but pipeline interlock. So the next part we'll do it in next video. Thank you.